Hey everybody, I'm Ace. Welcome back to another Things I Hate, where we talk about things from video games that I'm just not fond of. Today we're talking about the lovely Resident Evil. One of the things I really don't like about RE4 is QuickTime events. And now, mind you, there's not as many QuickTime events in RE4 as there is in, let's say, God of War, OG God of War, but it's still very aggravating when they do come up. Especially during cutscenes when you're just like, I would just like to put my controller down and watch the cutscene, and then you just get killed because a cutscene flies. I mean, a quick time thing flies across screen, and you don't have the time to react. I died a few times during your first encounter with Krauser because I didn't look at the screen for those quick time events coming up. So when they do, it's just a real letdown because you're just like, wanted to watch the scene, now I have to redo this over again. So hopefully the remake this month either cuts it out completely or at least majorly reduces it. The other thing I'd like to talk about are the Regenerators. And later in the game, you'll meet these really weird, sharp teeth, gray, tall man abominations known as the Regenerators. They make a very gross noise when you get close. It makes my skin crawl every time I see them and hear their noise approaching. And beating them the simple way isn't there. See, they have several parts in their body filled with the Las Plagas, and you have to use a thermal scope to shoot those specific parts so they can actually be killed. Otherwise, they'll just regenerate later. And for the most part, the normal versions aren't hard to kill. It's the spikier ones that are, because some of them are on their back, which means you have to, for example, take out their legs and then, or get behind them and then shoot them in the lost. But sometimes that can be tricky, especially if you come into a part where there's two of them coming into at the same time, and if they spike grab you, it's just an instant death. Now, it's just, these are some of the creepiest things I've ever seen in Resident Evil. This is also one of the reasons why I was so afraid of this game growing up when my brothers would play, because I hated these creatures so much. And now I'm terrified to see what they look like in 2023 now, which is probably going to be a hell of a lot worse. So the nightmares are going to be flooding back any moment now. Isn't that just PG? The last thing I'd like to talk about with RE4 is the Minecart section. Later in the game, you're going to have to ride in a minecart into the later half of the game, and it's not a simple minecart, as eventually enemies will start dropping into the minecart to attack you. Now, normally that wouldn't be a problem if it wasn't for the fact of your chainsaw wielding friend deciding to jump along for the ride too. These enemies are already annoying as it is because they can just insta kill you. So having to try and evade them in this very small 3-section minecart without getting killed by the other enemies first is something I just hate every time I come back to this game, because I could get halfway through it on the first attempt and then get killed by the chainsaw because I've been stunned by another enemy just chucking an axe at me or something. And then that one attempt would turn into like 10. And it's just, it makes me angry. Now, while yes, I've tried to, use the lovely glitch to bypass this, but most times it does not work for me. So this is something that I always dread every time I come back to this game, because I don't really have a way around it. And it'll haunt my dreams forever. So, there you go. One little bonus thing I'd like to add is what RE4 did going forward. Because RE4 was the change when they added more action to Resident Evil games. And it drastically affected RE5 and, God forbid, 6. And the less I can say about 6, the better. Now, thankfully, we're sort of back on track thanks to 7 and 8, but RE4, while I loved it, while it was good, the impact it had going on the next two games was not as great for me. But there you have it. Those are my lovely things I hate for Resident Evil 4. What do you guys think? If you have something else about RE4 that I happen to forget, why not drop it in the comments below? I'd love to hear what your thoughts are. And check us out on YouTube, Twitch, or TikTok for more of our awesome videos down the road. But till then, I've been Ace. Hopefully you guys have a great rest of your day, and I'll see you guys later. Bye-bye.